Hello everyone, this is Kevin, your entrepreneur, and I'm sorry you have to turn the volume up a little bit again. Again, there are people sleeping. I can't talk as loud as I normally would. I will try in the next few days to find a time of the day and a place where I can talk normally. But until then, I'm sorry, just got to turn it up. But I have some very good news. Lyft actually sent out an email a few days ago, and I'm late on this, but I want to come on anyway. And they have announced that they have raised their rates. Now that's what people have been saying, and they have. But here's the catch. It's only for Lyft Line, which is their Uber pool-like service. But how it works is if, you take a Lyft line, you get paid the regular Lyft rates. You don't get the Lyft line rate. Now, some people have praised this, and I'm not going to deny this is not good for the time being. I do have some mixed feelings about it, though. I know why Lyft is doing this, first of all. They're doing it because, kind of like Uber Pool, drivers don't want to use Lyft Line, and they're just ignoring the Lyft Line requests. And if too many people ignore Lyft Line, they might lose those customers to Uber Pool. I mean, I wish they wouldn't do either of these services, Lyft Line and Uber Pool. They're both terrible in my opinion, but hey, you know what? People like paying really cheap rates, so that's why they have it. But it doesn't work for the customer if drivers aren't picking them up. So I believe Lyft is subsidizing the rides and paying the drivers more. Now, as a driver, should you take advantage of this? Absolutely. I think you should. But here's where they're going to fall into a trap, I think. They can't subsidize these rides forever. And Lyft is so close to profitability, and they're going to lose a lot of money on this. I think, and of course, you can't make a long-term business as subsidizing rides. Uber has been learning this the hard way, and Lyft, I don't want to see them get into that cycle. Both of these companies need to figure out they need to figure out this magical rate, and there has to be a sweet spot. There has to be a good number. I know people who come on my channel all the time say $1.75 a mile, 30 cents a minute. You know what? Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. But, you know what? For whatever reason, they're not doing it. But they cannot make a long-term business model out of subsidizing rides, either on the rider's end or the driver's end. Because when they subsidize on the rider's end, well, that gets really expensive. When they subsidize on the driver's end, that's just as expensive sometimes. And the problem with both scenarios is whenever Uber and Lyft either raise the rates to what they should be, or they drop the pay to what they want to pay, people stop using the service and drivers stop picking up the rides. It's that simple. So while this is good news for drivers right now, I would really prefer Lyft find a price point that just works for everyone, where the drivers are making enough money, they are getting a good cut, and the riders don't feel like they're being ripped off. And subsidizing just doesn't work because you can't subsidize forever. Eventually, that subsidy has to go away. And whether that comes out of the driver's rate cut pay or what the riders are paying for the ride, someone's not going to be happy, and they will either stop using the service or they will stop picking people up. Right now, Lyft is doing this to try to get drivers to pick up passengers on the flight. You know what? It'll work. It'll work. It'll work temporarily. But once they're not subsidizing more, the drivers will go back to ignoring the rides. And this will effectively have solved nothing. It will solve absolutely nothing in the long run. So temporary, that's nice. But long term, I wish they'd find a more permanent solution. But anyway, what are your guys' thoughts? Are you going to pick up any Lyft lines now that the rates are the regular rates? I would love to know. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe. If you enjoy the videos I'm making, consider becoming a Patreon member or buying some swag from the Great Media Universe store. And as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.